So one of the reasons I'm doing this right now is because I need to make sure that this furnace is safe to run for another year. Hasn't been checked over in a very long time. As of right now, I'm in a position to replace this furnace today if I had to. And I want to make sure that in the event that I have to replace it, you know, it can be done. So anyway, I can identify the wiring schemata here. Okay, so now this one here, this is the, they're all black. Yeah, this isn't even mounted in a, so we got to do some work. We have work to do here. Electrically, it's not really in a place where I want it to be. So I've got, looks like I have 3 blacks here, a black and a white there, and then a black and a black here. So they're not really marked or color coded in a way that makes any sense at all. The color coding was on the insulation that is now frayed. So I'm not loving that. Let me get the light on here. It was on. Let's get some better light here. Alright, so what I'm going to have to do, here we go. So there's a red one, okay, and that supplies power to the transformer. There we go. That supplies, yeah, they're not hot or neutral. Okay, yeah, they're not marked. So red goes to the transformer. I'll just disconnect that. Alright, and then we've got a white neutral. I mean a white, whatever. That goes to, that one's loose. That's common. And there's a black one. And that goes to the motor neutral. So I'm going to write that down. I'm going to take some photos of that. And I'll make sense of it later. Or you know what? I'll write it on the furnace. Okay, I think I figured all that out. So we're just going to disconnect these wires. See, there should be a strain relief here, and there isn't one, which is mildly disturbing. Yeah, and some of this wiring I probably should just replace all of it. In addition to replacing the whole furnace. Oh, I don't love that. That does not look safe and healthy. Alright, so we got that all undone. And there's 2 wires coming out of the transformer. This is a replacement transformer. This is not original. It has a Sid Harvey badge on it. So Sid Harvey is a major supplier of replacement parts for furnaces. Okay, now we're going to undo the oil line and use something bigger than an 11/16. How about a universal wrench? Before I forget, I'm going to spray the bolt heads for the firebox. So yeah, my thoughts here are I'm going to try to get one more season out of this. Maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 10. We're just going to see what it looks like. We're going to see how safe or how unsafe it really is. We're going to check for any obvious signs of distress, cracks, as best I can. I mean, the unit ran safely all year. It just hasn't really given us a lick of trouble. So, you know, I'm hoping maybe that's, you know, a sign of things to come. I have a small pan I can use for any drippage. I mean, the fact that it runs at all is kind of shocking to me, but it was well built for its time, and, you know, hell, Still better than anything made today, that's for damn sure. Alright. So we're just going to close the Matic valve on this end to reduce the likelihood of any spillage. Okay. Now these Matic valves are kind of neat. They're a very low-tech fire suppressing system. What they're designed to do is the knob is made out of metal that melts at low temperatures. So if there was ever a fire in here, this would melt and close the valve, thus shutting off the oil supply. It's better than nothing. Alright. This whole unit should pull right out without much fuss. Alright. I said much fuss, not any fuss. And the oil line out a little bit. Well, the base is definitely in the way. Loosen that nut up. Okay, lesson of the day. That front cover comes off. Yeah. Like that. To make this job a little bit easier. Like that. Okay. Let's go. Wow. Holy shit. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Ooh. Ooh boy. Ooh. Well, other than crumbling fire brick, an old furnace cement. Let's see here. So a modern furnace is set up. Ooh, what is that? Oh my. Oh, that's just a fire brick. Okay. That's not really a problem. That's just, you can see there's some cracked fire brick. That's not always bad news. It doesn't look good, but it's not always a bad thing. Let's take a look at the burner. Let's get a good look at this baby. Yeah, well, she's due for a nozzle. And there's the, yeah, it's very dirty in there. Not that I would expect anything different, but... Oh, wow. Alright, so right now we're going to take a look inside the upper part of the firebox and see what we're dealing with. See, the funny thing about the fire brick is I think they usually do crack. I mean, that's not uncommon or abnormal. As far as I know, I did ask the guy who does this stuff, and he's like, oh yeah, that happens. But, yeah. Oh boy, oh dear. I see like that. Oh. Yeah. See, I can fix that. The question is, should I? The answer is probably no. See, that piece of brick is what mounts, oh yeah, see, that mounts to the inside of this door. So, yeah, that happened. That's good. At this point in time, I'm almost ready to say, let's just replace it. Let's get a look inside, see what we got going on. Oh, this is asbestos. Yeah, if I ever did see it. You gotta be careful with that shit. See, there's a lot of ash built up there. And that fire brick is crumbling. Yeah, this whole firebox is junk. 100%. And what you see there is flaking rust and other things. Probably just build up. And that may not be the problem, but let's get a look up inside here. Ooh. Ooh. Me no like. Me no like. Oh my god. No wonder it's over temping. Yeah. So, it's a lot of shit to deal with in one shot. So I think the real answer here is, yeah, see, you got a leak here. Definitely a leak in there. I'm gonna replace the unit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I mean, it's funny though, the combustion chamber itself, or I don't see any, let's look up in there. Yeah, I don't trust it. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's time. Can it be saved? Sure. Should it be? No. No, not a chance. I'm going to be making a phone call this summer. Yeah, what a bitch. I was hoping to get another year out of it, and I could, by rights. I could get another year out of this thing. But, shouldn't. No. These fire, look at all that rust and ash and all that stuff building up on either side here. You got a hole almost blown clear into that. No, maybe not. And all this. Oh my god. That's the asbestos that kills you. Yeah, we don't want to breathe that in. Put this cover back on and call it a night. It's a shame too, she was a running unit. But here's what was happening. So you notice that my the secondary, I don't know what you would call that, crossover tube, I don't know the terminology, but in the heat exchanger itself, you'll notice that some of those are completely blocked. Look at that. Now what that does, what that's going to do, all that buildup, yeah, they're almost totally blocked. And look at this corrosion here. Yeah. So what that's going to do is cause it to over temp. So when it's on a heat cycle, burner's running, thermostat's calling for heat, and it shuts down. And then it kicks back on again, and then it shuts down. Kicks back on. Until the heat cycle or the demand is cut, thermostat satisfied, everybody's happy. So what that's doing is it's causing a restriction of gas from flowing through the furnace and out the chimney. It causes excessive heat in the upper part of the combustion chamber area. And what that's going to do, two things. I've been having a cough all day anyway. This isn't from that. But the smell of oil is overpowering. I'm going to have to open this door. So what that's going to do for you is it's going to cause an over-temp situation. What's actually happening is this safety switch here, up here, it has a little wheel in there. Take this off. There's a little wheel there. And what that is that's attached to a bimetallic coil that's inside the plenum area. And as that reaches, there are 3 set points. The first one is fan on. So when it reaches about 125 degrees, 150 degrees, it kicks on the fan. And if the temperature continues to rise, what's going to happen is it'll reach what's called thermal limit cutout. And that's about 200, it's locked at around 225 degrees. Now, if it hits 225 degrees, and I think that's Celsius, no, that's Fahrenheit, what it's going to do is shut off the burner. Under normal operation, that should not happen. It should stay somewhere between, you know, 100, the set point, the fan on set point, and somewhere a few degrees higher from there. And that's where it should kind of live. But when it reaches the thermal cutoff, that tells you that there's something wrong. And in this case, there is something very wrong. That heat exchanger is almost completely blocked. So all that heat that's supposed to be flowing out the chimney is staying right around here, and it's building up. Now, the other thing that that does is it shortens the life of the heat exchanger by causing it to constantly remain at the limit of what it's designed to handle on a normal basis. It causes the metal to fatigue, to weaken, and, well, we all know what happens there. Now, shortening the lifespan of a heat exchanger that's already older than dirt, not sure that's really a problem at this point. But I cannot, in good faith, fire this thing up again. Can't be done. So this has turned into a, hey, let's take a look at this horrible contraption that still works. It's a museum piece. So yeah, I wasted a little bit of money on some new electrodes that I don't need. And you can see that this has been leaking for some time. There was a leak here. There was nothing sealing this unit up when I bought the house. In fact, they had actually fixed the problem for me. But yeah, we're done. This furnace is done for. 65 years is long enough. Yeah, it's lived a good life. Let's all pour one out. Let's pour out a can of oil for it. It's done. And it lasted longer than it should have. You know what's really impressive, though, is how this brick here that was cracked, it never fell into the combustion chamber. Had it done that, that would have been pretty bad. That would have been catastrophic. Yeah, it could be doctored up and it could be made runnable again, but let's not. Let's just not. Let's not and say we did. All right. Well, I'm going to get some quotes on a new furnace. I'm going to leave my oil shut off like it is. I got a new filter on there. Yay. Good times. We're gonna go ahead and have this unit replaced. It has done well. It has done well. I will say, you would have never known that there was a problem at all. I mean, now that's, well, let me rephrase that. Yes, you would know, because it was constantly cutting off on high temp, which is a problem. It's a big problem. It really is. I knew there was something going on, and I'm like, well, maybe it just needs a new nozzle. No. That heat exchanger is blocked, and you can see there's corrosion there, and it's only a matter of time before that corrosion finally eats through that probably 1/4-inch thick deck plating, which is what they would have used back then. Of course, I'm exaggerating. Let's take another look here. Yeah, it's done. It's so done. That's rust, I believe. It's the same stuff that's building up over here. It's very thin, it could be cleaned out. It could be a buildup of ash and rust. But look at that. Oh, and it gets even better because I just realized that this is supposed to be welded to the base, and, well, it's not welded anymore. This was a Quiet Heat Model A, Newark, New Jersey. There's the UL sticker. Yeah, she's definitely seen better days, man. One stage. This is probably not the original pump. I'm going to guess that it's been replaced at least once. But look at all that blowback. That's puffback right there. See, this right here is likely caused from the issue that I was talking about earlier. I don't know if it made it into this particular cut of the film, but those stack switches, the delayed cutoff for a failed ignition attempt is so great that it will allow that combustion chamber to fill up with oil mist. And then once it does ignite, because some bonehead comes down here and presses it again, hey, maybe it'll happen this time. That might explain why the transformer was replaced at one point. But what happens is that causes a puffback situation. As soon as it ignites, boom, you've got, you know, blast of combusting oil mix and air and just blowing out of here. And that's what all this is from. I can't believe I got a winter out of this. I believe that's the bleed screw. And that, I believe, is the pressure test port, or it could be here. It could be here or here, I don't know. Boy, oh boy. Wow. What a beast. We're not going to end it there. No, hell no. We're going to take this unit apart and see what such an old furnace looks like inside. Or, I'm sorry, oil burner. So we're going to start by removing the motor that I installed about 8 months ago. I mean, 6 months ago. This is the oil burner motor. This is what drives the impeller that feeds air into the combustion chamber, as well as the oil pump, which gives it fuel. Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. But to do that, we need to line up the blower shaft thingy so that we can get to the keyway. I see it. I see it. Rotate. I'm going to rotate the pump. I'm just rotating the armature, or the motor. So, how are we going to do that? Well, I guess I could take the air band off and make it easier to get my fingers in there. I mean, it's not like we're going to have to fire it up again. She's done. You know, I could make this thing run again for another couple of years, but at this point in time, I'm looking at this. The amount of money that I'm going to spend oil, I mean, as is, if I do nothing, it's just astronomical. I mean, it was a very expensive winter. I'll just leave it at that. This winter was very expensive oil-wise, and I don't want to do that again. I don't want to go through that again. Having to put a tank of oil in once every month, in some cases, it was just getting expensive, and I'm just not okay with that, you know. This is a metric set, I need a standard set. Back to the drawing board. Okay. And the standard, so I'm going to need one of the green handled ones. Too small. Too big. Too big. Too small. Too big. It's always the last one you try. You can't really tell which one. Really? It's not the size? Oh! This one, right? No, that's too big. Okay. Alright, got the right tool for the job. There we go. Okay, let's see how this motor fared. This is the one that I was worried about because it was the wrong motor for the job. And from the looks of it, it did just fine. Fortunately, there was no puffback issue. It looks really clean in there. Still spins nice and free. That's a new motor. I mean, that's a good motor. So, let's take a look inside here. And you can see kind of how it's constructed. We'll take the transformer off. Now, removing a transformer can sometimes be more than meets the eye. You have to have a sense of humor. Get it? Just kidding. All right, so let's undo this screw here. Now, this thing, you can have a lot of fun with these. You can really hurt yourself too. These transformers are, I forget, I think they put out like 30,000 volts. Actually, no, it's stamped on the side here. This one puts out 10,000 volts out of its secondary winding. Primary winding input is around 120 volts AC. So, if you want to really blow something up, no wrong with one of these. Oh, I have to reach in there and undo these thumb screws that attach it to the igniters. And boy, is it gross in here. Oh, is it gross. See, servicing one of these is nothing like the Beckett or the Carlin or whatever you've got in your house. It's a completely different animal. So there's our transformer. Look at how these are Bakelite. Look at these little Bakelite knobs that attach to the igniters. It's awesome. Remember, this thing was running 2 weeks ago. I just want to point that out. 2 weeks ago, I had this thing producing heat. So this is not some unit that was found in a barn. This is a unit that was running as of May of 2019. So we're going to undo this oil. This is the oil line that feeds the nozzles. We're going to take that out. Looks like I need to grab my... undo this oil line. I hope I got the right wrench sizes, and in case I didn't, I brought something a little more universal. Yeah, I did not. No. We'll just use the vice grips. What the hell? Oh, I might be able to get this nut. Yeah. Okay. Alright. So, this thing actually doesn't weigh much. It's actually very light. I think what I have to do is remove the access panel on the back. But I don't have a good number 3 Phillips to do that on hand. Let me see if I can find one. My tools are scattered all over the house right now because I'm doing so many projects at once. So this might be a bit of a challenge. What I really want to do though is I want to undo that oil line to reduce the weight a little bit. There we go. You know, it'd be nice if I could find somebody who wanted this locally. I'm not shipping this, but just to display, you know, in like a shop window, you know, as one of the, as an example of how oil burners used to be made. Now, if you look online, if you Google Quiet Heat Model A, you're going to find an article that was part of a historical reference book dating back to the mid-1950s. I believe it took place in an apartment building. What happened was one of these units actually blew up. It caused major damage, and I believe there were fatalities. What happened was the unit had essentially just blown apart. When I was discussing how oil can spray into the combustion chamber during a failed ignition sequence, what can happen in the most catastrophic sense of the word is what can actually happen is it could explode. And apparently it exploded with such violent force that it sent a fireball through the chimney and like blew the roof off the building. I did. Yay! I'm a hero. There we go. Okay. All right. Step 2. I gotta get this back cover off somehow. Now, the way I'm gonna do that, oh, I guess that worked. I thought it was gonna be stuck. I was wrong. This one's stuck. Got it. Let's take this back cover off. Have a look-see. Let me wipe my hands. So you can see inside here. Now this comes out that way. Ooh, baby. Look at those old igniters, man. Yeah, they're pretty rough. There's a little bit of oil in that line. Here's a nozzle. Let's take that out. Now I do have a nozzle for this. I also have igniters. Waste of money in hindsight, but hey, what the hell, right? So this unit, this is going to look familiar to some of you guys who work on modern stuff. This whole assembly isn't far off from what you'd find in a modern furnace. And but the way these igniters are hooked up using solid wire to the coil, or to the yeah, that's different, just a little bit. And I think they thread in like that. Look at that. And look at how dirty this is. I mean, you can't get a good electrical contact that way. Not anymore. Look at that. And these are just oily and sooty and smoky and all fixable. This is all fixable stuff. I'd love to see what the spray pattern looks like in the condition it's in. But this was a, I think it's actually written on the side of the furnace. It appears to be an 8580A. The A is the spray pattern. So the A is a spray pattern, that is a cone spray pattern, and the 85-degree angle cone. That's what that means. I don't think I have a wrench down here big enough for this job. Nope. So we're going to use a universal wrench. And we're going to remove the nozzle from here. Try to remove the nozzle from here. This is a messy job. The things I do for my viewers. My lord. Alright, here we go. We're going to pull this nozzle out. Get a good look at it. It is disgusting. Oh, it's loose. Now there's a filter inside here. And we're going to get a look at that filter. It's a little mesh filter on the back of the nozzle. I just want to see what it looks like. See how bad it is. But yeah, this is what I came in here to do. I came in here to put in a new set of igniters and a new nozzle. And I found that my combustion chamber is not long for this world. Let's take a look at this filter here. Oh my God, it's disgusting. Yeah, it is gross. Really gross. And this will unthread. Oop, dropped it. This is made out of, I believe, sintered brass. And yeah, this does actually come off. Threaded on there. You can see. There we go. Take this off. Looks like it did its job. I don't see any particles in there, but still, I mean, this nozzle is, you know, 5 years old. They're good for about a year, maybe 2. So that's that. Let's take a look at the new igniters. I wonder if I even bought the right ones. Let's see. Here they are. Did I even get the right ones? I'm going to probably throw these in. I mean, who's going to want these? I can't sell these, and I can't send them back. I mean, who would want nozzle igniters for this? I don't know. But they, well, they're very similar. They're not exactly the same as what's in here. But we don't know if these are the right ones. These could be whatever the guy who serviced it last. This is what he had in his truck. For all I know, that's what these are. Whatever was available, because let's face it, service guys aren't rolling around in their trucks with parts for a 70-year-old burner. So it should be, yeah, these are not the same. They're not the same angle. They're not the same length. So these could be the right ones and these are the wrong ones. I don't know. All I know is this is what was called for. The Mitco Quiet Heat Igniter. So there's that. Let's take the other side off of this thing. Take the pump off. But you see how simple these things are to work on. And, you know, it's not, I think we're probably better off undoing the set screws. And I'm going to save this transformer. We're going to have some fun with that in another video. Famous last words. So I'll undo the set screw here. There more than one. There's one. Should be like 2 maybe. 2. There we go. There's our pump. I might clean this thing up. Look at that pump, man. That's a beast. It has a stamp of 952 on it. Is that the production date? I don't know. It's a 1-stage pump. Could be original, could be a replacement, we don't know. Now there's going to be another filter in here as well. But look at the buildup inside this thing. Look at this. I'm just going to take my screwdriver, right? Scrape that. Look at that. That is some nasty stuff. Probably carcinogenic too. Like everything from the 50s, it'll cause cancer. Guaranteed. Oh my God, look at this mess. But yeah, these igniters, like this is bent. This is bent. The tips are pretty worn too, as would be expected. So what we're dealing with here is a gun that could go another 10 years, maybe more. And we've got a combustion chamber that was done for 10 years ago, or more. Wow, what a day. Let's take a look inside the pump filter, shall we? Now the filter, there might be 1 or 2 filters here. I think there's one down in the bottom, if I can get it off. I don't think I'll be able to. But yeah, there should be a filter down in here somewhere. It's probably in here, but I don't have the tools to get that done right. The pump still spins, but it just feels a little tight to me. It could be normal though. I wonder what I could use this for. There's no shaft play or anything. It seems to be in pretty good shape. It doesn't appear to be leaking. But yeah. Maybe we'll take the pump apart. Fuck, why not, right? Well, 7/16 bolts. We're already at the point of no return, so what the heck. Let's see what this pump looks like. Now this is going to be a I can't remember the name of the pump. It's like I think it's called a rotary vane pump. If you've never seen one of those inside, it's actually quite cool. Let's take the bolts off. So, funny story. I think I mentioned this in another video once, but I had a visitor. Old man came over. Don't know the guy from a hole in the wall. Shows up and he says, "Hello, I think you have a package for me." I'm like, oh, what's going on here? Turns out I did in fact have a registered letter that was sent here, and it was for him. And I'm like, you know what? You must be the gentleman who used to live here. He's like, yes, I am. And I gave him his letter, and it was from a law office or something. So I'm like, I asked him about the place, and he's like, so when did you live here? And here just prior to my buying the house. He had just moved out. And he said that at one point, his whole family was poisoned carbon monoxide. And it was because, you'll notice that on the furnace, I'll tilt the camera up, it has a nice shiny exhaust on it. Well, what happened was, the old exhaust, the original one, had rotted off the back, and no one knew about it. And people started getting sick, his wife, his kids. They started getting a little ill. And sure enough, whoa, baby. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, is that the filter? That's the filter. All right, whoa, baby. That filter's almost completely clogged. Wow. Almost totally clogged. So we found the filter just full of junk. Full of junk. So, unbelievable. But we're not into the rotary vane part of the pump. That's just the filter cover. So you can see inside here, not really much to see other than some oil. Let me get this cleaned up. So that happened. So yeah, that filter is junk. Absolutely junk. I believe this can be cleaned and reused. It has a little plastic spring. That tells me this is probably not original. This has been replaced as a unit probably within the past 30 years. I believe the original pump would have had a filter similar to this, like a sintered bronze. All right, one more stage to get into that precious, precious pump inner guts. It looks almost like a Mazda rotary engine or a Wankel engine inside. Well, not quite the same concept, but it's something that we all should see once in our lives. But yeah, so I learned something about the original, or the previous owner at least, in that she was a slumlord. And she did pay to fix the problem, but I mean, I bet you she never had that furnace serviced on a regular basis. I guarantee it. It was never serviced until something catastrophic happened, and in fact it did happen. So, you know, it's kind of a thing, you know. She was renting, this was one of the only houses in the neighborhood that was a rental property. And because this is a fairly well-to-do neighborhood. There's not a lot of rentals here. Not a lot of renters. But, so she probably did pretty well on the rent. All right. We're kind of halfway in there. Come on, there we go. Let's take a look at this pump. Let's check it for wear. Not that I'm equipped to do that. See a little half moon here? So this is just part of the pump. This rotates like that. And it displaces fluid. There you go. That's all it is. This is the business end of the pump right here. That's it. And the rest of it's just bearings and stuff. And I don't see any real blockage in there, but it is pretty dirty in there. To think of it. Yeah. So this gear here rotates. Actually, no. That rotates, and it's supposed to line up. Yeah. No, that's not right. That's not right at all. The bolts go through that. I think I'm missing a piece. No, I'm not. It's actually a pretty simple pump. So the oil flows into these little grooves here, and it gets squashed between this piece here that's rotating. It gets squashed into this little semicircle where it gets forced out. There should be a port on one side here where it gets forced out. So, yeah, real simple stuff. Pump's fine though. I mean, I'm not going to put it back in service, but it's fine. And there you have it. I mean, there's not much else to dissect other than that neat little transformer, which we're going to probably have some fun with in another video. But hey, you know something? This was a educational and fun experience. I'm glad you could join it with me. This thing is going to go straight to the metal pile, I'm pretty certain. I don't really feel like restoring it because there's no real benefit to me anyway. So I'm not going to do that. We're not doing that. Anyway. Alright guys, thank you for watching, and for God's sake, get your furnaces tuned up on time, because, you know, this could have been really bad had I tried to get another year or two out of this thing, so just keep that in mind.